Hey, Benson's Fish Room people, it's Ryan again here from Benson's Fish Room. Today I want to talk to you guys a little about what I think are some of the top mistakes newbie fish keepers make. So stay tuned, we'll be right back. Hey, Benson's Fish Room people, like I said in that opener, what I want to talk about today is some of the mistakes that I find new fish keepers making in that first month or two. One of the first ones is that I find very common is overstocking their tanks in the beginning. What people used to come in, and what we used to tell them is, years ago, we used to say about an inch of fish per gallon. Well, if we weren't careful enough and told them an established aquarium could possibly have that, they wouldn't hear that part. So they'd come in a week or two later and they've already put 20 fish, 21-inch fish in their 20-gallon tank and wondering why everything is dying. So when we say an inch of fish, we don't even really say that anymore. When you're starting a brand new tank, you want to start with just a few fish, depending on the size of the tank. Obviously, the bigger the tank, the more fish you can start with. But still, you keep that number low. You let that cycle go slow. All right, start slowly. The next thing I want to talk a little about is once you get fish in that tank, most people overfeed their fish. If you follow the label on a fish food, it tells you as much food as they can eat in about 3 to 5 minutes. If you do that, I believe you're way overfeeding your fish. What I usually tell my customers is feed as much fish as they can gobble up in about 30 seconds. That way the filter's not eating it, it's not settling to the bottom. It just makes it for a lot happier tank. And when you feed that way, there's no reason why, once your tank becomes established, that you can't feed at least a couple times a day. Because that's what most people like to do with their fish tanks, or feed their fish. So you feed very small portion, you can feed more often. Again, this is what I think, what I believe. Whether it works for you, I don't know, but this is what I would tell people. Another thing I want to talk about is people that come in after their tank is established, or I've talked to people and I ask, what's your maintenance schedule? What are you doing for water changes? And they tell me right off the bat, it says, well, I add a couple gallons of water to my fish tank every couple days or once a week. They think that's a water change. That's not a water change. That's just compensating for evaporation. When water evaporates, pure water evaporates. It leaves everything else behind in the aquarium. Okay. So what we tell people to do is about a 10% water change once a week. And if your water is evaporated a little bit, do your water change and then fill it right back up to the top. Okay, that way you're always getting rid of some of that stuff that's evaporated. The next thing is people come in and all of a sudden their tank will be solid green. Green water, green algae, green everything everywhere. And one of the first questions I ask people is, do you have small kids? And sometimes they say yes. And I say, well, is this in their bedroom? Yeah, it is. Are you using that fish tank as a night light? Yeah, I am. So the lights are on 24 hours a day? Yeah, it is. There's your reason why you got a lot of green water. Cut that light back to about 8 to 10, maybe 12 hours a day. If it's in a bright room, keep the light off during the day. Back to the first couple weeks of setting up a newbie fish keeper, setting up a tank. A lot of people they'll come in, they'll take our advice, they'll go home with a couple fish, they'll start the cycle of their aquarium, and all of a sudden the tank gets a little bit cloudy. Newbie fish keepers that haven't been taught properly, they think that it's time to change that cartridge in that hang-on back filter. So all that good bacteria that's in your tank that's trying to set up and trying to help keep that tank clean, when you change that out after about a week, you're getting rid of all that. You're setting the tank back. They put another fresh cartridge in. A week goes by, the tank gets a little cloudy again. They pull that cartridge out, put another cartridge in. They're wondering why they're going through so many cartridges. Let that cartridge sit there in that tank, do its job for, anywhere from, a month or more. I usually tell people until it falls apart. Another thing people make the mistake of doing is we tell them to do, the water changes. Get yourself a bucket. So what they'll do is they'll go out to their garage and they'll pull an old bucket that they've had, or a bucket they've used to mop their floors or wash their cars. It's always got detergent in it, and you can scrub it. You'll never get it 100% clean. So what we tell people is take a trip out to Lowe's, Home Depot. We've even started selling 5-gallon buckets for people. Use a good brand new bucket. They're $3-4, whatever they are. Mark right on it, fish room only, fish keeping only. You know, you don't want that bucket to ever been used to wash a car, wash your floors, wash your windows. You want it really clean. Another thing is where you put your tank. That's another thing people always make the mistake. They always want it, a lot of people want to put it right in front of this window, and they'll come back a month later and say, my tank is like pea soup, it's so green. It's because you put it in front of a window. You generally want to keep it away from as much direct light as possible. The more direct sunlight that it gets, the greener that water is going to get, the quicker it's going to get that green. Another thing, you know, if you guys have any experience, if anybody out there works in the fish store with the public with fish, drop a comment down below. Another misconception that brand new fish people have is fish growing to the size of their tank. A lot of them will say, oh, I'm going to put this Oscar in a 10-gallon, it won't grow. It's going to max out at a certain size because it's only in a 10-gallon tank. That is total BS. The size of the tank will tell you how quick the fish is going to grow, but the fish is going to grow no matter what. So you take that little cute little 2-inch Oscar, put him in a 10, yeah, you can do it for a short period of time. But that fish is going to grow and outgrow that tank very fast. It's going to be harder to keep that tank clean. So start with the appropriate size tank, or at least know the fact how big that fish is going to get in that time frame you're going to have before you're going to have to switch them out. If you like these videos, like, subscribe, and smash that notification bell. That would really appreciate it. It helps me out a lot, and it helps me be able to get more videos out to you. I want to do this a lot more than I have been. I apologize for that. But, you know, hit that notification bell. That way you know when I'm going to do a new video. This next tip, I don't do this personally, but I know there's probably a lot of women out there, there's a lot of men out there that use moisturizers on their hands. Before you start sticking your hand in the tank, make sure you wash your hands off. Get that oily stuff off your hands. That'll do nothing but pollute your aquarium. This little tip is something when your tank has already been up and running for a little while. A lot of fish keepers they'll do all their maintenance in one day. Brand new fish keepers, new fish keepers will do all their maintenance in one day because they're listening to us, and I love that they're listening to us. But don't do it all in one day. If you're going to do your water change today, don't rinse your cartridge, don't replace your cartridge, don't touch your filter until a week later. The reason being is when you do a water change, you are going to get rid of some of that good beneficial bacteria, and if you do that plus change your filter cartridge, you're going to end up having to recycle that tank. It might not take as long, but it will look a little foggy for 2 or 3 or 4 days till the tank sets up. So just make sure that when you do your water change, you're not touching anything else. Wait a week. Next week, then you can take out your cartridges, rinse them out. If you're using AquaClear filters, rinse that sponge out. Do it a week later. Don't do it all in one day. You can do too much at once. Last but not least, this is exciting for me. This is my first venture into online sales. I started a Shopify account, bensonsfishroom.com. On that site, you can buy a lot of the products that you see behind me here. You can also get some of my new BFR stickers. I got hats and t-shirts. You can get them all at the bensonsfishroom.com. That's about all I got for you. So if you liked what you saw, make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. If you want to comment below, and I appreciate all the comments, comment down below. I'll get back to you. You'll help somebody out. If you have a suggestion, a hint for somebody new just starting out, post it down below. Until next time. Wait, was it? Oh yeah, here it is. I forgot. I come up with a new new end thing. It is. Wait, my phone's ringing. Maura, I'm in the middle of doing a YouTube video, and you're on YouTube right now. Yeah. Okay, see you, bye. All right, where was I? Oh, when in doubt, do a water change, and don't forget, stay fishy, my friends.